Welcome back to Raised by Giants live special broadcast. Good to see everyone. Welcome everyone in the chat and any moderators and or channel members out there, and to anyone that's listening to the replay. Thanks for joining us. If you're listening on YouTube or X, follow the show on the audio only podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast. I had some trouble uploading the past couple of episodes of the show that I've been doing. The Virginia Giuffre Mandela Effect Part 1 and Part 2. Spreaker did not want to upload the full episode of Part 1. It would only upload 10 minutes. So then I had to rip it back down, reprocess it as an audio file, re-upload it. It was only wanting to upload 10 minutes of the 37-minute live broadcast that I did. And then once I got that uploaded and everything was good with that, then I went to upload episode number 2, and the first 10 minutes of the episode were like all garbled, like you couldn't understand what I was saying. So there's been some really weird and strange things going on with this case in general, and this case is a really big deal because of the implications and the things that I think is going on can really peel back a lot of layers of exactly what happened, right? Virginia Giuffre did not kill herself. Okay, that should be the hashtag that we have on this thing. And we should all be sharing out this information. We should be trying to get to the bottom of this because Virginia said that she is not suicidal, regardless of how long ago she said that she would never kill herself. It doesn't matter. When someone makes that kind of statement, listen, if something happens to me, I am not suicidal. Okay, we should believe them and trust them, because you would not make a statement like that if you ever in the future ever intended to take your own life. You just wouldn't. You would never make a statement like that if at any point in the future you thought that anything could happen to the point that you would take your own life. It's just not going to happen. But I've been really busy today. I had to move the show back several times, so I appreciate everybody that's in the chat right now. Juan-san, Chloe, thanks so much for being a channel member. Chloe, Sam, how's it going, brother? Good to see you. Rob Oz, good to see you, my friend. And I've been really busy this morning. I've been on two separate shows talking about this, talking about Virginia Giuffre, because I don't think a lot of people understand exactly what's going on here. And I don't even think that they know about the abuse allegations that Virginia has stated with the People magazine article, that she'd been being abused by her husband for almost 10 years. So this case is a really big deal. And someone commented on the show yesterday on part 2 and asked about the Mandela effect part, because I mean, this thing keeps getting stranger and stranger, right? And they commented and asked about the Mandela effect part. And the Mandela effect part was what got me interested in this story from the beginning, okay, which has everything to do with the bus accident, which I have new information on the bus accident that happened on March 24th. And the Mandela effect part was in the first episode because I thought that she had died from the bus accident. That's what I believed because I didn't look into it. I thought it was like a non-story, right? Because people get into car accidents all the time. And I thought that maybe it was just a coincidence that it was Epstein's main victim, Virginia Giuffre, that was, she was leading the charge on this entire story, and Prince Andrew's main accuser. And it's even been reported that she was secretly funding other victims' lawyers' fees and court cases. So Virginia was literally made it possible for a lot of these other victims, these other Epstein victims and sexual abuse victims, to come forward. So I was kind of stunned by the fact that she had supposedly committed suicide when I thought that she had died in the bus accident, which then triggered me into researching all this more. And the more that you look into these people, the weirder this whole thing becomes. And I'm going to do a quick recap here of yesterday's episode that we covered on this. And so this article here, Virginia Giuffre alleges husband has physically abused her for years. I can no longer stay silent. Okay, so the weird thing of this whole thing becomes is that we discovered that Virginia came out less than a week after she was in the hospital for supposedly the bus accident that happened on March 24th, that the police said was a minor incident. And the police didn't even show up to the scene. It was reported by the bus driver the next day. And Virginia arrives at the hospital 6 days later on March 30th, which is when she did this People's Magazine interview here. She did this People's Magazine interview a week after she was in the hospital for the bus accident, right? And in the People's Magazine interview, less than a week later, where she disclosed that her husband had been abusing her for 10 years, and basically he was responsible for her injuries, not the bus. Now, it doesn't explicitly say that in this article, but in a roundabout way, it definitely says it. She says, in an exclusive statement to People, Virginia said, I was able to fight back against Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, who abused and trafficked me, but I was unable to escape the domestic violence in my marriage until recently. After my husband's latest physical assault, I can no longer stay silent. Well, what other physical assault was she referring to if it wasn't the most recent one, which she claimed to the hospital was this bus accident? So that brings the whole bus accident into question. Okay. And I don't know what other recent event that she would be talking about, but there's another event that is talked about in this article. And we also discover that that other incident that happened back in the beginning of 2025 in January, where the exact same thing happened to her. Virginia and Robert went on a trip to celebrate one of her children's birthdays in January 2025. Robert Giuffre beat Virginia so severely she was left with a cracked septum, a bruised temple, and a blackened eye. She was then transported to the hospital for her injuries. The next day, Virginia reported that the assault to the police, who did not charge Robert for any crime. Instead, he flipped the script on her and filed a protection order against Virginia and took the kids. That was the whole reason. That's how the kids got taken in the first place, was because he filed this restraining order against her. After he had beaten her, he then flipped the script on them and made it seem like that she had beaten him. Or where's his bruise marks on this thing? Her face looks pretty beat up here. And Amanda Roberts down here, and her husband right here. This is Amanda Roberts' brother, and this is her brother's wife right here. She made a statement in this article that she believed that the last incident on January 9th, where Robert Giuffre beat Virginia, she believed that Robert almost killed her. And that Amanda had spoken with Virginia on the phone after, and Virginia basically said to Amanda that if she had one more instance with him, she wasn't going to make it out of there. If that statement alone isn't circumstantial evidence enough to warrant an investigation on Robert Giuffre, I don't know what is. I mean, they convicted Scott Peterson on nothing but circumstantial evidence. Now, whether you agree with the Scott Peterson conviction or not, that's besides the point. There should at least be an investigation into Robert Giuffre, because this entire People Magazine article is nothing but circumstantial evidence against Robert Giuffre and his alleged abuse to Virginia. Okay. So, in speaking of Robert Giuffre, I decided to try and look a little bit more into Robert Giuffre. And surprise, surprise, there is very little information on this man. You can't find any information on this dude online. It's like his entire life has just been scrubbed from the internet. And even some of the reports that, because apparently how they met, how Virginia and Robert met was in Thailand. And Jeffrey Epstein had sent Virginia to Thailand to be a masseuse. And then that's how she met her husband, Robert Giuffre. And then they got married 10 days later. And then she never communicated with Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell ever again. And I tried to look this up. I used Grok. I used ChatGPT. I used Google. I could not find one article that stated this in any of the articles online. When they said that that information was in there, it was a bad gateway. Yes, you're right. Rob Oz, he was also a martial arts instructor. That's pretty much all the information that we got on this guy. That's it. That's all we got, was that he's a martial arts instructor, that they met in Thailand. That's it. Jeffrey Epstein sent Virginia to Thailand to become a masseuse, become a massage therapist. And that's all we got. There's no other information. And Google tries to say there's no other information because he's not a public figure. Now, I don't understand how you can not be, at least have some articles written on you when you're the wife of Virginia Roberts here. Like, I don't understand how you don't have any articles. There's nothing about you online. Even the Wikipedia page on Virginia Giuffre has very little information about Robert on it. Here's the Wikipedia article on Virginia Giuffre. Okay, so following her marriage to Robert Giuffre in 2002, which again, they exclude the fact that the reason that they met was because Epstein sent Virginia to Thailand to become a massage therapist or a masseuse. Virginia lived in Glening Valley in Central Coast in New South Wales for 11 years. The family relocated to the United States in November 2003. They stayed there for several years, initially spending time in Florida and later in Colorado in 2015. In 2019, it was reported that Virginia Giuffre lived in the Canaries, Queens Island, with her husband Robert and their 3 children, 2 sons and 1 daughter. In 2020, she moved her family to Ocean Reef in Perth, Western Australia. By 2025, Giuffre and her husband had separated. Her brother and her sister-in-law have said that she had separated from Robert even earlier in August of 2023. That is not confirmed, though. In 2025, Virginia stated that her husband had physically abused her both during their life together, and more recently, she subsequently accused the breaching of family violence restraining order taken out by Robert in the court hearing was said, asked for comment by press days after the accident, which is below. She denied violating such an order and added that she would defend herself against a malicious claim. So the final separation was the event on January 8th of 2025, where Robert Giuffre beat her to an inch of her life, which is talked about in this People magazine article, where she was then taken to the hospital and a police report was filed. This is Sky and Amanda making a comment on that event, saying that they believe that she had almost died because of the beating that Robert Giuffre gave Virginia. Amanda says about the alleged January 9th beating that had to speak truth with her on the phone, and that she acknowledged that she had one more instance with him, that she wasn't making it out of there, which is very damning evidence against Robert Giuffre. Okay, so I started trying to look into this man, and the only article that I could find that had any relativity, just like I was mentioning before, all of the articles that said that Giuffre, like Virginia, was sent to Thailand by Jeffrey Epstein has been essentially like wiped from the internet. You can't find it. It's either a bad gateway. Even one of the articles that I clicked on here, I'll show a screenshot of this. That's doing this account that Jeffrey Epstein had sent them to, sent her to Thailand to be a massage therapist. Okay, so this says that Virginia Giuffre met her husband, Robert Giuffre, while taking massage training in Thailand in 2002, arranged by Jeffrey Epstein. She was instructed to bring a Thai girl back to the United States, but instead she fell in love with Robert and married him 10 days later, according to the BBC. Now, this is just a screenshot that I took of an article that I couldn't find, because if I had the real, like where I got the screenshot from, if I had the real one and I tried to click on this link right here, according to the BBC, which is the link that would take you directly to the article where you could read that they said this, it's a bad gateway. It won't allow you to read the full article. And one of the articles by the Daily Mail, which supposedly has this statement in it, where Jeffrey Epstein arranged for her to go to Thailand to become a massage therapist. That's where she finds Robert Giuffre and marries her 10 days later. Or she marries him, however it worked. You have to pay. You have to pay to read it. So the one article that I can find about this that has this mentioned in it, you have to pay for it. All the other ones have bad gateways, or it's or the entire article has just been scrubbed. Like you can click on to open up the article, and then it's something completely different that's not even related to Virginia Giuffre or Robert Giuffre. It has something is completely different, like soccer. I clicked on one earlier that was about soccer when it was supposed to be about Virginia Giuffre and Robert Giuffre. So I don't know what's going on with this, but I thought that was really interesting. They're trying to obfuscate exactly what was going on and make it seem like that it wasn't Jeffrey Epstein's hand that even got them together in the first place, which seems like that he was an agent. He was set up there to find Virginia and get with her so that Jeffrey Epstein could still essentially have control. Because whenever you look at that People magazine article, it says that she was abused for 10 years. Okay. That she'd been abused by Robert Giuffre for 10 years. All right. So, and then I found this article, which is who is Virginia Giuffre's husband, Robert Giuffre, and are they estranged? Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein's accuser met the Aussie martial arts instructor at a massage school in Thailand in 2022. But again, this article admits the fact that this was Jeffrey Epstein that sent her there to be a massage, to go to the massage school. Okay, so this is them together here. Virginia Giuffre, a prominent accuser of Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew, says that she's in the hospital after she collided with a school bus in Australia. But what do we know about her husband? What do we know about her husband? Turns out we know very little, like nothing. Okay, Virginia Giuffre, a prominent accuser of Jeffrey Epstein, Prince Andrew, was hospitalized after a car collided with a school bus in Western Australia on March 24th. Per the BBC, Giuffre shared the news via Instagram, adding that she has 4 days to live due to kidney failure, which we're going to get in more into that because I have there's a new article here, a New York Post article saying that the bus driver disputes Epstein's Virginia Giuffre's collision claims blown out of proportion. But we're going to get to that here in just a little bit. Okay, so her family recently shared a statement with BBC. She is overwhelmed with gratitude today. She remains in serious condition while receiving medical care. The school bus driver had a bus full of distraught children. Now, this is another discrepancy between the police and these articles, is that the police said that there wasn't any children on board the school bus, but all the other articles that I've read all state that there were children on the school bus. And Virginia was banged up and bruised and returned home to Virginia's conditions worsened, and she admitted to the hospital, which is a cover story. The bus thing is a giant cover story. It's a cover up for the abuse of her husband, just like she covered up with him on January 8th of 2025. There's a picture of her and Prince Andrew and Ghislaine Maxwell. Giuffre, 41, accused Prince Andrew of sexually assaulting her on 3 occasions when she was 17 years old. The Duke of York denied the claims, but reached an out-of-court settlement with her in 2022, which was supposedly for tens of millions of dollars. Giuffre reportedly lives in Perth with her family, including her husband, Robert, and children, knows BBC. However, recent reports should suggest that Virginia and Robert may have split recently. Here's what we know about him. And what we know about him is very little. Nancy Hardwick. Yeah, I agree. It's a setup. It's definitely a setup. He definitely arranged that entire thing. He arranged for her to meet Robert Giuffre in Thailand, to then become her abuser whenever she escaped from the grips of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. Because it's just a coincidence that she gets out of a very abusive role with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and then she immediately gets into another abusive relationship with her husband, that she was sent to Thailand by Jeffrey Epstein and just happened to meet him. I don't know. It's a lot of coincidences there. But here's another picture of her and her husband, Robert. Robert Giuffre is reportedly an Australian martial arts instructor, per News Australia. Not much is known about him. Yeah, I would say nothing is known about him. Though an interview with Giuffre's father gave to the Daily Mail after the accident hinted that she had been going through a divorce. Okay, so he says that she was very depressed. He told the outlet there's everything else that she's gone through with the divorce and not being able to see her kids, which can be a motivation. Okay, Virginia met her husband over 2 decades ago. They reportedly first crossed paths while she's at a massage school in Thailand in 2022 and got married that same year. Per the standard, she then cut off contact from Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Prince Andrew's legal team is said to have had sought witnesses' accounts after Robert as a part of a civil case in the U.S. back in 2002. So this admits the entire idea that Jeffrey Epstein even sent her to Thailand. It doesn't mention that. It just mentions, oh, hey, they met a couple of decades ago and reportedly crossed paths while they were at a massage school in Thailand in 2022. They just both happened to randomly be at a massage school. Yeah, Nancy Hardwick. He asked to marry her within 1 week. They got married within 10 days after they met in Thailand, which Jeffrey Epstein set up. He set up her going to Thailand to go to this massage school, and that's where she met Robert, and they got married within 10 days. That's what happened. Okay, so they completely scrubbed the fact out of this article that it was Jeffrey Epstein that sent her to Thailand to begin with in 2002, and that's how she met Robert Giuffre. And then she cut off contact from Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and moved to Australia. Okay, so we know why Virginia was going to Thailand to be a masseuse, because that was the whole thing of Jeffrey Epstein, right? He would get these women to give him a massage, and then he would, do his thing afterwards. So he wanted him to get a good massage. But why was Robert at the massage school when he's a martial artist from Australia? He was born and lived in Australia, but he just happens to be in Thailand at the same massage school. No, something's not adding up here. Robert and Virginia Giuffre shared 3 children, according to the News Australia. The family moved from the Canaries to Perth in late 2020. So that's basically all of that article. It takes out the fact that Jeffrey Epstein was the one that sent Virginia to the school to learn how to be a massage therapist, to the massage therapist school. Okay, so now we get into this bus stuff. Okay, we're back to the bus stuff because the bus stuff is where all this started. But I want to know why there's not any more information on Robert Giuffre. If someone can find out more information on this man, it can find some articles, where he's from, what his family was, because that's how you investigate somebody. You got to figure out everything about them, but you can't figure out anything about this man because there is nothing on him. There's nothing on this dude anywhere on the internet. Okay, so let's get to this bus. This is from the New York Post. A lot of conflicting things going on with this bad boy. Okay, bus driver disputes Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre's collision claims blown out of proportion. The school bus driver allegedly hit Jeffrey Epstein's victim, Virginia Giuffre, said the mom of 3 was complaining, exaggerating when she suggested that the accident nearly killed her. So the bus driver is claiming that the accident, she's exaggerating the accident, that it nearly killed her. Giuffre, 41, who was allegedly sex trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein to have sex with Prince Andrew when she was a teenager, made headlines on Tuesday when she posted a harrowing picture of herself in the hospital covered in bruises, claiming that she'd only have 4 days to live. Ross Munns, so now we know the name of the bus driver. Ross Munns is the name of the bus driver that allegedly hit Virginia Giuffre. The bus driver involved in the Australian police dubbed a minor collision, said Giuffre's post on social media have blown it out of proportion, the Daily Mail reported. The bus driver claimed that the incident, which occurred in Nagarabi just after 3 p.m. on March 24th, happened when he was trying to overtake a slow-moving white Toyota Highlander driven by a 71-year-old woman. So where did this woman come from? Munns, who was driving with 29 kids. Okay, this is a major discrepancy here. Munns, who says that he was driving with 29 kids at the time. Now, of all reports say that the bus was at least going 68 miles per hour when it collided with Virginia's car. Okay, and you have 29 kids on board and no one was injured? I don't know if you guys remember being on a bus. But I don't think there's seatbelts on a bus. Well, maybe there are now. I don't know what it's like in Australia, but back when I was in school, there were no seatbelts on the bus. You just sat on the bus. So a bus collides with Virginia's car at 68 miles per hour and no one was injured. But that's in complete contrast to what the police said of the incident. Okay, the police said, hold on, okay, here's the police estate.
In Australia,
Fast forward a little bit here. So the police said that there were no injuries and there were no passengers on the bus. But the bus driver is saying that there were 29 kids on board of the bus.
I do know there was an accident on the 24th of March
It was a bus with another vehicle.
And was there any passengers on the bus at the time? Are you aware?
I'm not aware of passengers on the bus, but certainly the bus driver reported it as he was required to do and in the right time frames.
No passengers on the bus. So we're getting conflicting reports here. The police are saying one thing, the bus driver is saying one thing, the articles are saying something completely different. Why can't anybody get their story straight here? Okay. Because the bus accident was fraudulent. It was an excuse. Okay. Let's get on to reading more of this article. So the driver basically pulled out in front of me. I made sure she was all right, and I went and did a police report, Munns told the outlet. So this is the man that was driving the bus, Ross Munns. She was elderly. She was an elderly woman, and I asked if she was okay. She said, "Yes, I'm okay," he added. Munn maintains that he never actually saw Giuffre inside of the vehicle. He never even saw Virginia inside of the vehicle. Okay. So was she even there? Did this bus accident even happen? So his only other interaction with the driver entailed checking on her condition and warning her to put her signals on when making a turn. He didn't even see Virginia during this bus accident. That's all the conversation was. And she asked how the kids were on the bus, and she said, fine. It wasn't a major crash, he concluded. Virginia, according to Munn here, Virginia wasn't even in the vehicle, or he didn't see Virginia. Police confirmed that Munn had contacted them the following day, adding that no injuries were reported as a result of the crash, which left the car with about $2,000 worth in damages. I don't know how insurance companies work in Australia, but you have to have a police report in order to claim insurance on your vehicle. If there's any damage done to your vehicle, you have to call the police. The police has to come and do a report. And that's how you get your insurance to cover your accident. This doesn't make any sense. How can there be $2,000 worth of damage on the vehicle? No police report. It was a minor accident. Nobody was injured. He didn't even see Virginia. Munn said that he was not, and he's saying that he wasn't even obligated to even report the incident to the police. Okay, well, Rob Oz is saying that no insurance report from cops needed in Australia. That's wild. So I guess the insurance companies are just taking everyone's word for it. That's wild. I thought that that would be like a standard thing that would happen everywhere. So you can essentially just go out and wreck your car, and then you don't have to have a police report proving that someone hit you. You can just say whatever, and then the insurance company will fix your car. That sounds like a lot of fraud can be done that way, because that's exactly what would happen in the United States if a police report wasn't required for an insurance company. In fact, that is the reason why a police report is required for your insurance if you have a car accident in the United States, is because of fraud. People can just make shit up. They can essentially get all the money. They could wreck their car, say that they were in an accident, and then the insurance just pays them out all the money for the car, and then they can get a brand new car or get their car fixed. They could get a new paint job if they wanted to. They could hit something. They could hit a mailbox and say, oh, right side of my vehicle is all screwed up. I got into a car accident. Call up the insurance company. They're like, I got into a car accident. You got to take my word for it. That's wild, though. That's wild, though, if that's true. You only call the cops if someone's injured. And again, I don't understand how someone wasn't injured. How was someone not injured by a bus being involved in an accident hitting a car at 68 miles per hour? That's a wild standard for insurance companies. If that's true, Rob Oz in Australia, that just is that can for a lot of fraud. A lot of fraud can be done with that. You could essentially get a new freaking car every single year if you wanted. You just got to wreck it. Okay, so after informing the driver that he had contacted the police, the woman allegedly revealed to him that there was a passenger in the car who suffered a black eye. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. So it wasn't until after he had contacted the police that the elderly woman that was 17 years old, that was supposedly driving the vehicle that had Virginia Giuffre in it, she then disclosed to him that there was a passenger that was in the back seat. The bus driver was ultimately shocked to learn that the whole incident became news across the globe following Giuffre's post on Instagram. In the original post, with Giuffre's spokesperson said that she intended the post for a private Facebook account. She had claimed she had gone into kidney renal failure after a bus allegedly traveling at 68 miles per hour plowed into her. So someone's lying. Someone's lying here. Hero Paranormal, Ryan, brother, Ryan Burns, what's going on? I just did his show. We were just talking about this earlier today. Should be on. When is that show gonna premiere, Ryan? Let me know and I'll put it in the chat here. Hopefully you already have it up and it's gonna premiere soon, but I'll let people know about it. So Giuffre, who was born in the U.S., relocated to Australia, was reportedly discharged from the hospital the following day and brought into another hospital the following week where she was also discharged. Rather than resulting from the crash, Giuffre's injuries allegedly came from a fall. See, there's so many conflicting statements by all of these different articles as the reason for her injuries, right? The People magazine article claims from her brother and her brother's wife that she got the injuries from her husband beating her. And she essentially said that also in the article that Virginia said, I was unable to fight back against Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, who abused and trafficked me, but I was unable to escape the domestic violence in my marriage until recently. After my husband's latest physical assault, I can no longer stay silent. This is less than a week after she's in the hospital for this supposed bus crash injuries. So she can't be referring to the incident back in January 8th. That was at the beginning of the year. It was over 2 months ago. 3 months ago. She can't be referring to that. She has to be referring to the one that she's in the hospital for now, which she's covered up and said that it was because of the bus crash. Okay. Munns told Daily Mail that the crash happened after he decided to safely overtake at a speed of under 46 miles per hour. See, there's so many conflicting statements just in this article alone. The one article, the one thing said 68 miles per hour, and now later on, as we scroll down further, he's saying that it was a speed of 46 miles per hour. And he's trying to overtake a slow-moving vehicle with a Toyota Highlander driven by a 71-year-old woman. I want to know who this 71-year-old woman is. Rob Oz, any details on the 71-year-old woman? Yeah, Rob Oz, they do look like they are the wrong caller because they didn't come from the bus accident. They came from her husband beating her, as stated in this People magazine article. Okay, so let's get back to this bus driver. Okay, so West Australian police confirmed to news.com Australia, that they had one recent record of a minor bus collision with no reported injuries in the state, which occurred 12 miles north of Perth just over 3 p.m. March 24th. Okay, so there's so much, there's even conflicting information within this article. So you're not only getting conflicting information from the police, you're getting conflicting information from all the articles, you're getting conflicting information from Virginia herself, you're getting conflicting information from the driver of the bus. This guy right here, Ross Munns. He's switching up his story. They're saying that the bus was going 68 miles per hour. Then later on, he says 46 miles per hour because he was trying to overtake another vehicle. Virginia was in the vehicle. She wasn't in the vehicle. He never seen her in the vehicle. And then all of a sudden, she's in the vehicle. This bus thing just keeps getting stranger and stranger. And then why do we not know anything about her wife? I mean, about her husband. Other than that, he's a martial arts instructor. He's a martial arts instructor at a massage school in Thailand in 2022. So he was teaching martial arts at a massage school? What is going on here? Why do we not? Someone needs to figure out more about this dude. I'm trying to do my best, but there's just no information on this guy. Very little information on this dude. Can't find it. Nothing. Zilch. Zippo. And then even the articles that you can find doesn't talk about how Jeffrey Epstein was the one that sent her to Thailand to the massage school. Just says that she just randomly wanted to go to the to a massage school in Thailand where she met the love of her life, Robert Giuffre. That's it. So the whole thing, super sus. And I think that I am on target here. I am above target. I think that this has everything to do with her husband. I think that her husband had the perfect out with this whole thing by one, getting out of the first event that happened January 8th, where her brother and his wife said that she narrowly escaped with her life from the beating that she received by Robert. He's a proven woman beater. There's reports of him. There's a police report of him and the damage that he had done to her on January 8th of 2025. So the reason why he's not being investigated is wild. I mean, he has a history of domestic abuse against her, but he's the one that filed the report. He's the one that filed the restraining order against her. Here, I'm trying to find where the photo of them together are. It's up here at the top. Okay, so he's the one that filed the report against her to make it look like that she was the abuser. She's the one that did it, so it's a defense for him. That's how he got the kids. That's how he got custody of the kids, was filing the family restraining order against her. So it makes it seem like he's the good guy when he's the one that's the abuser. He's the one that's beating her, and there's proof of that in the claim that in the police report from January 8th or January 9th, early January of 2025. Yeah. Virginia reported January 9th of 2025 an assault in Dunsborough, Western Australia to police who did not charge Robert for any crime. People has been unable to obtain the incident report. Robert did not respond to people's multiple calls or text for comment. Okay, so there's a police report out there somewhere that he almost beat her to death and she ended up in the hospital earlier in the year. And Amanda Roberts, which is her brother's wife, says that we don't know if the injuries came from the bus or if it came from her husband beating her. Speaking about the damage to Virginia's organs, Sky said, I think that's from years of alleged abuse. You got to think she's been allegedly being abused for over 10 years. Anybody's body is going to take a toll over that course of time. Nobody ever said that her kidney issues, her liver and kidney issues failure was from the bus accident. We still don't know if it is. I'm not a medical professional, but that's up for her doctor to determine. So she's telling you right there that the injuries did not come from the bus accident. The bus accident could have happened. It could have been a real deal, but very minor. And then she used the excuse that her injuries came from the bus accident, just like she ended up covering up the abuse that she had from her husband earlier in the year on January 9th. Excuse me, I might have been saying January 8th earlier in the episode, but it's January 9th. It's the same thing. Early January. This event happened where Robert Giuffre pretty much beat her to death. And then she made the statement, if she ever gets into another situation like that again, then it would probably be the end of her. Which then we find out a couple of weeks later, just a few days ago, that she had died of suicide. And she stated in 2019, I'm making it publicly known that in no way, shape, or form am I suicidal. I've made this known to my therapist and my GP. It's shaping up like that her husband was 100% involved in her death. Now, whether he actually killed her or not, we don't know. It's speculation at this point, but he was involved somehow, some way, shape, or form in her death, and he needs to be investigated. And if he's not investigated right now, if the investigation doesn't go through right now, this entire story is going to be a Netflix documentary in 5 years, in 10 years, where we're going to be theorizing about this. 100%. It's going to be a Netflix, Hulu, Paramount Plus documentary, true crime documentary. Who did Virginia Giuffre really kill herself? And then it's going to be all speculation. Oh, could it have been her husband? Did her husband? What kind of ties did he have? Then it's all going to come out then. But the problem is that by that time, nothing's going to be able to be done about it. So something needs to be done now. Yeah, that's the way that the courts think, apparently, GG. Matthew Martinez, thank you so much for your kind and generous super chat and support of the show. $4.99. Appreciate you, Ryder. Appreciate you, my friend. Really appreciate it. Thank you for your support of the show. Tim, what does the autopsy say? Well, we haven't even gotten an autopsy yet. The police they've already set this thing up as like it's a closed and shut case. Closed and shut case. She committed suicide. Nothing else to see here. Even though Robert Giuffre, there's a police report out there floating around somewhere that supposedly no one can get access to. Not even People Magazine can get access to it. that proves that her husband is a woman beater, that he has domestically abused her several times in the past. And her family knows this because she's told her family over and over again. I mean, that's proven in this People magazine article. Her family knows this. She's probably been telling her family for up to 10 years. Yeah, Jenna Banana, that's the issue. They just wait us out. I would like to know that, Gigi. I would like to know if he did, because that would be. We'll probably never know because we can't figure out anything about this guy. If anybody can find anything about this guy, Googling him, or I tried asking AI, I tried asking Grok, ChatGPT, Googling it for hours today. There is no articles written on this dude. None. Very brief mention of him at all, even in the Wikipedia page. Yes, he did. Yeah, he did get the kids because of the protection order that he filed against Virginia after he had basically beat her to the edge of her life in January 9th of 2025. That's how he got the kids. He got the kids because of that suit. And then they were getting ready to go to court soon because of a violation that supposedly Virginia made against the order by supposedly texting him. So she supposedly violated the order by texting him, but then she denies that allegation in the People magazine article. So people were saying that she was essentially making up the severity of the bus accident in order to see her kids. That's what people were saying. And also, like, Prince Andrew's ex-wife. Oh my God, this is horrific. I don't want to forget about this. So Prince Andrew's, well, his ex-girlfriend apparently posted on Instagram right after her death, and essentially saying that this is like this is karma. This is karma for being a liar. So Prince Andrew's ex backtracks after Virginia Giuffre's death remark. So Prince Andrew's former girlfriend, Lady Victoria Harvey, sparked fury by reacting to Virginia Giuffre's suicide on Friday by posting, "When lies catch up to you, there's no way out." Wow. Wow. What a thing to say. What a thing to say. When lies catch up to you, there's no way out. What kind of implication is that? That's Prince Andrew's ex-girlfriend saying this, which Prince Andrew was the number one person that Virginia Giuffre was after. She filed a lawsuit against him. And of course, Prince Andrew denied all the claims, but there's pictures of them together. There's pictures of her and Prince Andrew together. Let me see if I can find them. Right here. There's Virginia, there's Prince Andrew, and then there's Ghislaine Maxwell. So he has denied this since she's come out about it. And then he settled out of court with her in 2022, which I highly doubt any of it was. I don't think a lot of it was even paid out. I read a report. Well, me and Ryan Burns just did a show earlier on this topic, and he had read a report that it was coming out in chunks because he settled out of court in 2022, paid her, was supposedly had to pay her a lump sum of, some reports say upwards of like $10 million. Rob Oz, exactly. Why would he pay 12 million? Yeah, that's also reported to upwards of 12 million, up to 15 million. But I think the standard, what people are talking about, is around over $10 million that he was supposed to pay Virginia Giuffre for settling out of court. And yeah, why would you settle out of court unless you don't want all your dirty laundry aired out? So that's where we are. I'm going to continue to look into this and get to the bottom of it, because I don't believe that we should let this go. I'm going to try and get on as many shows as I can, because I think that this is a really big deal. I think it's really important to discuss and get into, and no one's really talking about it. So please share this out to as many people as you can, because I really think that I'm onto it here, and I think that we need to get some justice for this woman, because I 100% believe that she, Virginia Giuffre, 100% did not take her own life. And it's like a big middle finger. It's the ultimate middle finger if her husband did have something to do with it. It's the biggest middle finger in the world. Okay? The person that was abusing you for 10 years and trafficking you to all these people for 10 years supposedly hung himself in prison and committed suicide. Again, I say supposedly. I don't believe that he actually killed himself, just like I don't believe that Virginia Giuffre killed herself either. But it's the ultimate middle finger to her by making it look like she killed herself, just like her supposed abuser. People made it out like he killed himself. So it's the ultimate middle finger for a scumbag, abusive, narcissistic person like Robert Giuffre. And it's just like Jeffrey Epstein, to put her into another situation where she can continuously be abused. Okay, get out of this situation. Get out of the one that you're in with me. You no longer got to do that, but I want to put you into another situation where you're going to be abused for up to 10 years. I think that whole thing was a giant setup. But again, that's just my opinion. That's my thoughts on the matter. I 100% believe that an investigation needs to be looked into to her husband, Robert Giuffre. We need more information about him. There's no information about him online. There's nothing about him. Zero information. So if anybody can find out anything more about her, please send me an email so I can start putting more things together. And yeah, I think that's where we're going to end it for today. And thank you guys. Really appreciate you all. And again, thank you, Matthew, for your kind and generous $4.99 super chat. Appreciate your support of the show. Really makes a difference. Helps me continue to do this. And thanks everyone in the chat. Really appreciate you all. Please be sure to hit the thumbs up button to help the channel in the algorithm. Share, subscribe, hit the bell icon as well for notifications. Thanks, Scotty Boy, for being here. Thank you, Chloe. Appreciate you. Thank you for being a Ryder Ranger channel member. I'm going to be releasing a new channel members only episode here soon this week, so get in line for that. You can sign up in the description of this video. I have it down there. All of my links are in the description of the video. All the podcast links, all the social media links is all down there. The links to watch my movies on Tubi, my documentaries on Tubi, And let's see where this bad boy goes. Let's try and blow this thing up. Let's try and go as far as this thing can take us, because I believe that she does need justice, and her coming out and saying that she would never commit suicide is very telling. So let's stick with this. Let's keep bringing awareness to this, and please share out this video. Send it to people that might be interested in this, and I will go on and talk about it on their show. And have a good one, guys. Appreciate all of you. Until next time, bye bye.